I survived a plane crash alone. My name is Nora. The plane went down, everyone else is gone. I fought to live, but the pain never ends. This is my story. It is a hard story to tell. But I want to tell you, I want you to know what happened. I want you to know that you can be strong. I am 25 years old. I live in a big city. I work in an office. My life was very normal. I woke up at 7 o'clock. I drank coffee. I went to work. I talked to my friends. I complained about the traffic. I complained about the weather. I thought my life was hard. I thought I had big problems. But I did not know what a hard life was. I did not know what real pain was. Now I know. I remember the day clearly. It was a Tuesday. I was going on a trip. I wanted to visit my sister. She lives in a different country. I was very happy. I packed my bags. I packed my favorite clothes. I packed a book to read. I called my mother. I told her I will call you when I arrive. She said, I love you, Nora. Be safe. Those were the last words I heard from her for a long time. I went to the airport. The airport was busy. There were many people. Families were laughing. Businessmen were talking on phones. I felt excited. I like to fly. I like to see the clouds. I got on the plane. I sat near the window. I looked outside. The sun was shining. It was a beautiful day. The pilot spoke to us. He said the flight would be smooth. He said the weather was good. I felt safe. I closed my eyes. I wanted to sleep. I slept for 1 hour. Then I woke up. The plane was moving. It was shaking. I looked around. Other people looked scared. The light above my head turned on. It was the seatbelt sign. The pilot spoke again. His voice was different. He sounded worried. He said, please sit down. Put on your seatbelts. The shaking did not stop. It got worse. The plane went up and down. It felt like a roller coaster. But this was not fun. This was scary. People started to cry. A baby was screaming. I felt my heart beat fast. Boom, boom, boom. I held the arm of my chair. My hands were white. I looked out the window. The clouds were dark. I saw lightning. Then a loud noise happened. It sounded like an explosion. The lights in the plane went out. It was dark. People screamed louder. The plane fell. It fell very fast. My stomach felt sick. I could not breathe. I thought about my mother. I thought about my sister. I thought, is this the end? I closed my eyes tight. I prayed. I said, please God, please save me. The noise was very loud. The wind was loud. Then everything stopped. I do not remember the crash. I do not remember hitting the ground. I only remember the darkness. I woke up. I did not know where I was. I opened my eyes slowly. My head hurt very bad. I touched my head. There was blood. My hand was red. I tried to move. My body felt heavy. My leg hurt. I looked at my leg. It was cut. It looked bad. But I could move my toes. That was good. I looked around me. I was on the ground was wet. It was grass, I saw trees. Tall green trees. I was in a forest. I was in the wild. I sat up, I felt dizzy. The world spun around me, I waited. I took a deep breath. The air was cold, it smelled like rain. And smoke. Smoke, I looked to my left. I saw pieces of the plane. It was broken. It was destroyed. There was smoke coming from the metal. I stood up, it was hard. My leg hurt with every step I walked toward the plane. I called out, "Hello. Is anyone there? Can anyone hear me?" My voice sounded small. The forest was very big. The trees were very tall. My voice disappeared in the wind. I walked closer to the plane. I saw seats. I saw bags, but I did not see people moving. I saw bodies. They were not moving. I felt sick again. I wanted to vomit. I covered my mouth. Tears came to my eyes. I cried, "Hello." I screamed, "Please wake up." No one woke up, no one answered. There was only silence. The birds were not singing. The wind was not blowing, it was a dead silence. I realized the truth, everyone was gone. The pilot was gone, the families were gone. The baby was gone, I was the only one. I was alone, I sat down on the wet grass. I cried for a long time, I cried until my throat hurt. I felt so lonely. I have never felt so lonely in my life. In the city, there are always people. Even if you are alone in your room, you can hear people outside, you can hear cars. You can hear life, but here, there was nothing, just trees. Just me. I looked at the sky. It was gray. It was going to rain. I needed to move. I needed to think. I told myself, "Nora, you must move. If you stay here, you will die. You must live." Why did I want to live? I do not know, maybe it is instinct. Maybe I wanted to see my mother again. I stood up, I wiped my face. I had to be strong first. I checked my pockets. I had nothing. No phone, my phone was in my bag. My bag was on the plane. I looked for my bag. I looked in the broken pieces of the plane. I saw many bags. I opened them. I found clothes. I found books. I did not find my bag, but I found something better. I found a jacket. It was a man's jacket. It was big and thick. It was warm. I put it on. It smelled like cologne. It made me sad. The owner of this jacket was gone. But his jacket would save me. I said thank you. I whispered it to the air. I found a bottle of water. It was half full. I was very thirsty. My mouth was dry. I wanted to drink it all. But I stopped. I thought, I do not know how long I will be here. I must save it. I took one small sip. The water tasted wonderful. It was the best water I ever tasted. I put the bottle in the pocket of the big jacket. I looked for food. I found a small bag of peanuts. That was all, a few peanuts. I put them in my pocket too. The sun started to go down. The forest became darker. Shadows grew long. The trees looked like monsters. I was scared of the dark. I have always been scared of the dark. When I was a child, I slept with the light on. Now I had no light. I needed a safe place. I could not sleep near the plane. The smoke was bad and the bodies. I could not be near them, it was too sad. I walked away from the plane. I walked into the trees. I looked for a place to sleep. I found a large tree, it had big roots. The roots made a small cave. It looked dry. I crawled under the roots. It was tight, but it was safe. I gathered leaves, I made a bed. The leaves were wet, but they were softer than the ground. I sat under the tree. I pulled the big jacket around me. I was cold, my leg throbbed with pain. The pain was sharp. It felt like fire in my leg. Night came, it became pitch black. I could not see my hand in front of my face. I heard noises, I heard leaves crunching. Crunch, crunch. Was it an animal, a wolf? A bear? I held my breath. I was terrified, I closed my eyes. I imagined I was in my bed at home. I imagined my soft pillow. I imagined the street lights outside my window. I tried to sleep. But sleep did not come, I was too cold. I was too scared, I shivered. My teeth clicked together. Chatter, chatter, chatter. It was a long night, it was the longest night of my life. I thought the sun would never come. I thought I would die in the dark. But the sun did come. The sky turned gray, then blue light came through the trees. I was still alive, I crawled out from under the tree. My body was stiff, my leg was swollen. It looked purple and blue. I needed to wash it, I needed to find more water. The half bottle was almost empty. Water, I said. I need water, I listened. I closed my eyes and listened. In the city, you listen for cars. Here you listen for nature. I heard a sound, a soft sound. Whoosh, whoosh. It sounded like water. I walked toward the sound. I walked for a long time. The forest was thick. Plants scratched my face. Thorns tore my pants. I did not care. I needed water. Finally, I found it, a small stream. The water was clear, it moved over rocks. It looked beautiful, I fell to my knees. I put my hands in the water. It was freezing cold. I splashed water on my face. I drank. I drank and drank, it was so fresh. Then I washed my leg. The cold water hurt, but it also felt good. It numbed the pain. I cleaned the blood. I tore a piece of cloth from my shirt. I tied it around my leg, it was a bandage. It was not a doctor's bandage, but it was better than nothing. I sat by the stream. I felt a little better, I had water. I was alive, but then my stomach growled. I was hungry, I remembered the peanuts. I ate 3 peanuts, I chewed them slowly. I wanted the taste to last. What now? I asked myself. I needed to be seen, I needed rescue. The trees were too tall. A plane could not see me here. I needed to go to an open place. I remembered the crash site. The trees were broken there. There was an opening in the sky. I walked back to the plane. It took a long time. I was weak. My energy was low. When I arrived, the scene was the same. The broken metal, the quiet. I looked for something bright. I needed a signal. I found a piece of metal. It was yellow. It was part of the wing. I dragged it to a high spot on the ground. I placed it there. I hoped the sun would reflect on it. I hoped a pilot would see a flash of light. Day 2 passed and day 3. Life became a routine. A hard, painful routine. Wake up, feel the pain. Drink water, look for food. Wait. Hunger is a terrible thing. It hurts your stomach. Then it hurts your head. You cannot think clearly. You feel angry. You feel weak. I looked for berries. I saw red berries on a bush. They looked delicious. I wanted to eat them. But my mother taught me about nature. She told me some berries are poison. Never eat what you do not know. I stood in front of the bush. I was so hungry my hands shook. I touched a berry. Should I eat it? I asked. If I eat it, maybe I die. If I do not eat, maybe I die from hunger. I did not eat them. I was too scared. I walked away. Later, I found some green plants. I recognized them. They were like the plants in my salad. I ate the leaves. They tasted bitter. They tasted like dirt, but I ate them. On the 4th day, it rained. It rained very hard. The water came down like a waterfall. I ran to my tree. I hid under the roots. But the water came and the ground turned to mud. I was wet. My clothes were soaked. The big jacket was heavy with water. I was shivering again. I was so cold. I thought, I cannot do this. I am not strong enough. I am just a girl from the city. I need my house. I need warmth. I cried. I let the tears mix with the rain. I screamed at the forest. Why me? Why am I here? The forest did not answer. The thunder boomed, the lightning flashed. I felt small. I felt like an insect. I thought about giving up. It would be easy. Just close my eyes. Just stop fighting. The pain would go away. The cold would go away. But then I thought of my sister. She was waiting for me. She was probably at the airport. She was probably worried. She was calling my phone. She was asking, "Where is Nora?" I could not leave her. I could not let her be sad. I had to live for her. I will not die. I said, I shouted it. I will not die today. The rain stopped in the evening. The air was damp. I needed a fire. I had never made a fire. But doing it is different. I looked for dry wood. It was hard because of the rain. I found some dry sticks under a big rock. I tried to rub the sticks together. It did not work. My hands were sore. I got a blister on my thumb. I tried for hours. Rub, nothing. I was frustrated. I threw the stick. I went back to the plane wreckage. I looked again. I looked everywhere. I moved heavy pieces of metal. I found a small bag. It was a woman's purse. Inside there was lipstick. There was a mirror and there was a lighter. A small pink lighter, I held it in my hand. It was like gold. It was the most precious thing in the world. I laughed. I laughed like a crazy person. I ran back to my tree. I gathered the dry sticks. I gathered some dry leaves from deep under the roots. I clicked the lighter, a small flame appeared. It was beautiful. I put the flame to the leaves. They caught fire. Smoke rose up, then fire. Bright orange fire. I added small sticks. Then bigger sticks. The fire grew. I sat close to it. The heat felt amazing. My clothes started to dry. My skin felt warm. I looked at the fire. It was like a friend. It gave me light. It gave me hope. That night, I did not feel so alone. The fire was with me. Days turned into a week. 7 days, 1 week alone. I was very thin. My clothes were loose. My face was dirty. My hair was a mess. If you saw me, you would not know me. I looked like a wild animal. I started to talk to myself. I told myself stories. Once upon a time, there was a girl named Nora. She liked pizza. She liked movies. Do you miss pizza, Nora? I asked myself. Yes, I miss pizza very much. With extra cheese. Me too. It sounds crazy. But it helped. It kept my mind working. Silence is dangerous. Silence makes you think dark thoughts. One afternoon, I was by the stream. I was washing my face. I heard a snap. A branch broke. I froze. I looked up across the stream. There was an animal. It was a bear. It was black and big. It was looking at me. Its eyes were small and dark. It sniffed the air. My heart stopped. I did not move. I remembered what to do. Do not run. Bears are fast. If you run, they chase you. I stood up slowly. I made myself look big. I raised my arms with the big jacket. Go away, I yelled. My voice was deep. Go away, bear. The bear looked at me. It was not scared. It was curious. It took a step toward the water. No, I shouted louder. I picked up a rock. I threw it. The rock hit the water. Splash. The bear stopped. It looked at the water. Then it looked at me. It grunted. It turned around and walked away. It walked into the trees. I waited. I waited until my legs shook. Then I ran back to my fire. I added more wood. I wanted a big fire. Animals do not like fire. That night I did not sleep. I sat with a heavy stick in my hand. I watched the darkness. Every shadow looked like a bear. Every sound was a monster. I was exhausted. I was so tired. How long can I do this? I wondered. My body is weak. My mind is tired. The pain never ends. The pain was not just in my leg. It was in my heart. The sadness of the crash. The faces of the people on the plane. They were always in my mind. When I closed my eyes, I saw them. I felt guilty. Why did I live? Why did they die? It was not fair. Day 10, I woke up. The sun was hot. It was a bright day. I lay by the fire. The fire was just smoke now. I did not have energy to find more wood. I just lay there. I looked at the clouds. I saw a shape in the clouds. It looked like a bird. Then I heard a sound, a humming sound, hum. It was not a bird, it was not a bug. It was steady, it was getting louder. I sat up, my heart beat fast. I looked at the sky. Is it a plane? I whispered. The sound got louder. Thup, 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 thup. A helicopter. I jumped up. I forgot the pain in my leg. I forgot the hunger. I ran to the clearing. I ran to the place with the yellow metal. I looked up, I saw it. A helicopter, it was white and red. It was flying low. Hey, I screamed. Here I am here. I waved my arms, I jumped up and down. Please see me, please. The helicopter kept flying. It was going away, no. I cried, no. Come back. I looked at the ground. I needed smoke. I ran to my fire. I grabbed a burning stick. It was hot, but I did not care. I ran back to the clearing. I threw the stick on some dry bushes. I blew on it. Burn. I begged, burn. The bush caught fire. Green leaves started to burn. Green leaves make a lot of smoke. Thick white smoke rose up. It went up into the sky. It was a pillar of smoke. I looked at the helicopter. It was far away, but then it turned. It turned around. It saw the smoke. Yes, I screamed. I fell to my knees. Yes, yes. The helicopter came closer. The wind from its blades was strong. It blew my hair, it blew the grass. It was the most beautiful sound in the world. It sounded like life. The helicopter hovered above me. A man looked out the door. He waved, I waved back. Tears streamed down my face. I could not stop crying. A rope came down. A man came down on the rope. He wore a red suit. He landed on the ground. He ran to me. He grabbed my shoulders. He looked in my eyes. Are you okay? He shouted over the noise. I am the only one, I sobbed. Everyone is gone, just me. I have you, he said. You are safe now. He put a harness around me. He held me tight. We went up. The ground moved away. The trees became small. The crash site became small. I looked at the forest one last time. It was beautiful, but it was cruel. We flew away. I sat in the helicopter. Someone gave me a blanket. Someone gave me water. I drank it. I closed my eyes. I slept. I slept without fear. I woke up in a hospital. The room was white. It smelled clean. It smelled like medicine. I was in a soft bed. My leg was bandaged. I heard a voice, Nora. I turned my head. It was my mother and my sister. They were there. Their eyes were red from crying. Mom, I whispered. She hugged me. She cried. My sister held my hand. We did not speak. We just cried together. We were together. That was all that mattered. Recovery was hard. My leg was broken. I had many cuts. I was very thin. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to eat normal food again. But the hardest part was the mind. I am back in the city now. It has been 1 year since the crash. I go to work, I drink coffee. I see my friends, I look normal. If you see me on the street, you think she is a normal girl. But I am not the same when I hear a loud noise. I jump. When I see a plane in the sky, I feel sick. When it is dark, I need a light. I cannot sleep in the dark anymore. The pain never fully ends. The memory is always there. I remember the cold nights. I remember the loneliness. I remember the silence of the dead. But I also remember the fire. I remember the star in the dark sky. I remember the strength I found before the crash. I thought I was weak. I thought I could not handle problems. I worried about small things. I worried about money. I worried about my hair. Now I do not worry about those things. I know what is important. Family is important. Love is important. Being alive is a gift. Every day is a gift. Sometimes life is very hard. You might feel alone. You might feel like you are in a dark forest. You might feel cold and scared. You might think, I cannot do this. But I want to tell you, you are strong. You are stronger than you think. I survived a plane crash alone. I fought the wild, I fought the hunger. I fought the fear. I am Nora. I am a survivor, and if I can survive, you can survive your challenges too. The pain never ends, but life goes on. And life is beautiful. Thank you for listening to my story. Please hug your family today. Tell them you love them. You never know when everything can change. Goodbye for now. Stay strong.